What's up YouTube, it's Eric Kelly, aka The Tech Gentleman, bringing you guys another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at some tips and tricks for the Pixel 6a. But before we get going, we got to give Google a huge shout out. Shout out to Team Pixel, shout out to Made by Google for sending this out to me for review. Also, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you got any comments or questions, make sure you leave in the comment section below. I'll make sure to get back to you. But without further ado, let's talk tech. Alright guys, so today I got 5 quick tips and tricks for you with a bonus on the end. Alright, the first tip I have for you is called quick phrases. Okay, so we go to settings, go to apps, and we're going to go down to assistant. Under assistant you see a couple of options. The first one we're going to look at is quick phrases. This one is pretty cool because it kind of builds on something Google mentioned a while back, which was being able to interact with your assistant without having to say the "Hey G" keyword. Right? 2 things you can do now. You can interact with alarms and timers and incoming calls. So what that looks like for alarms and timers, your alarm's going off, you don't have to open your eyes, you don't have to roll over, you just yell out snooze and maybe just be late for work. Or you can get bold, you can yell out stop and potentially get fired. It's up to you, however you choose to live your life, it's on you. Google is making it easier for you to make that decision though. Okay, same when incoming calls, you can just yell out answer or decline, however you want to do it. Now it does give you a disclaimer about the answering calls thing, is that if it hears something that sounds like answer, it's going to answer, right? If somebody happens to say, are you going to answer that? It's just going to pick up. All right. So use it at your own discretion. All right. You know what kind of life you're living. All right. So next up, we have continued conversation. So just for the heck of it, I'm going to go back through the same steps. I'm going to go to settings, I'm going to go to apps, go down to assistant, and we have continued conversation. All right, so with this one, this is one that Google has been able to do for a while. Now you have the option to turn it on and off. All right, so this allows you to continue interacting with your assistant after you've asked your initial question. So if I do something like, what's the capital of Spain?
Madrid is the capital of Spain.
Who's the president?
Pedro Sanchez.
How tall is he?
He's 6 feet 3 inches tall.
Is he married? Is he married?
Yes, Pedro Sanchez has been married to Maria Begoña Gomez Fernandez since 2006.
Okay, so you guys can see I didn't have to keep repeating "Hey G," it just automatically started listening. That's the continued conversation feature. Very cool feature. All right, moving on, we got our next feature. This is going to be some battery stuff. So the first thing I want to touch on is adaptive charging. All right, so out the box, these adaptive battery features, they come turned on. After we talk about them a little bit, I'll let you decide what you want to do. So first thing we'll do is go to settings, then we will go down to battery, go to adaptive preferences, and here you have your adaptive battery tech. You got 2 options, adaptive battery and adaptive charging. Adaptive battery can be hit or miss. It's supposed to extend your battery life, but if you happen to notice you're getting notifications a little bit late, things aren't coming in as snappy as you expect them to as far as those camera notifications or those chat notifications, this is probably your culprit right here, the adaptive battery, because it's trying to throttle background services to extend your battery. So play with that how you will. If you run into some issues with it, you know where to go. As far as adaptive charging goes, this is a cool piece of tech. This actually came over from the Apple camp, where basically it looks at your alarm you have set and it makes sure that your phone reaches 100% as soon as it gets to where your alarm is going off. That's supposed to help preserve your battery because it isn't ramming charge into your battery as aggressively or as fast as it would if you didn't have it on like I do. Or also if it's during the day, right? You don't have an alarm set, you just plug it in. It should charge at normal speeds, but I'm not risking it. Okay, I'm not letting the phone decide when I'm sleeping and when I'm trying to do a quick charge so I can bounce. So I have mine off. But those are some cool features specific to the Pixel line, and we're going to move on. Next up, we're going to go to sound and vibration, and we're going to turn on adaptive sound. So we go to settings, sound and vibration, and down here you see adaptive sound. I have it turned on. It's kind of difficult to tell with this device, and it does mention it not working as well at louder volumes, but what it does is it uses the microphones to kind of assess the ambient sound in the room that you're in, and adjust the EQ automatically of what you're listening to make it sound better. The only thing that I've noticed is that when I have in earbuds, it'll actually raise the volume in the earbuds if it gets louder, right? So I was cutting the grass with my Pixel Buds in the other day, and when I turned the blades on, it went ahead and cranked the volume up for me. It was very gradual, very, very subtle. It wasn't immediate, but I did notice I didn't have to fumble with the volume at all. So that's a pretty cool feature. All right, the fifth one is going to be a cool one. This is heads up. All right, so how we get the heads up, we go down to settings. I'm going to go to digital well-being, and we're going to go down to heads up. All right, so as you can see, the little animated picture there is doing something that a lot of people do, especially nowadays. Walking around, got your phone in your hands, looking at it, texting, responding to those chat messages, and you're not really paying attention. What this does is it senses when you're using your phone in a certain way and you're moving, and it gives you a notification. It says, hey, heads up. Look around, look at your environment, make sure you're safe, make sure people around you are safe. I think it's a very cool and forward-thinking feature. All right. I live in a kind of rural area, so we don't have a lot of public transit, so I don't do this a lot in public. But when you're somewhere where you have public transit, you look at, places that have well-developed subway systems and train systems and things like that. There are droves of people that are just walking around in their phone like this. So this is something that I think really, as soon as you set up the phone, this should be one of the options they offer you. I really think that it's that cool of a feature, right? So now we're getting down to the bonus, and I left this one in just because for a phone like this, it makes a big difference, but it's an oldie, all right? It's not specific to the Pixel line, but it's something that's useful, and that is developer mode, all right? So normally it's on developer mode. You would go down to about phone, tap build number 5 times, says you're now a developer. Then you can go to system, go to developer options. And what we're going to do here, we're going to turn down some of these animation scales, the window scales. So you'll scroll down until you get under the drawing header. And when you're under the drawing header, you'll see window animation scale, transition animation scale, and animator duration scale. Set all of these to 0.5. Out the gate, I think they're at 1 or 1.5. Set them all to 0.5, and you'll end up having a much snappier device. And this doesn't work for everything. It does require a little bit of processing power. So if you have a decent processor, maybe the OEM's animations aren't as pretty or as great, then I would definitely use that setting to smooth things out and just make it feel a little bit snappier, a little bit more responsive. All right, but these have been tips and tricks for the Pixel 6a. If you got any questions or any tips or tricks of your own, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. I'll make sure to give you a shout out. Until next time, guys, I'll talk to you. Peace.